Divine Light, as we come into your presence knowing that there is only you, and that we are one with our divine essence, we give thanks. We give thanks. We give thanks for the opportunity to be here in this space, in this time, knowing that we are one with you, and that I speak my words for Audrey right now, in her oneness in you, that she will bring forth a powerful message, a message that will fill our hearts, minds, and beings with the love of divine that you are. We give thanks for this opportunity as I release to the law of good, knowing that it is done, and we call it so, and so it is. Amen and amen.
Let your light shine.
Come on, people, join us and see. Let your light shine.
Let your light shine.
Come on, people, join us and see. Let your light shine.
Let your light shine.
Let your light shine.
Let your light shine.
We are the lighthouse where love shines so bright. Let your light shine.
Let your light shine.
We are the lighthouse where light shines so bright. Let your light shine.
Let your light shine.
Let your light shine.
Let your light shine.
Here you will find love and peace of mind. Let your light shine.
Let your light shine.
Here you will find love and peace of mind. Let your light shine.
Let your light shine. Let your light shine.
Let your light shine.
Let your light shine.
Let your light shine.
Let your light shine.
Good morning, SEC. I am Audrey Scott Williams, Spiritual Director here at the Spiritual Enrichment Center in Dothan. I am excited about our service today. I'm excited mostly that you are there with us. And if you're here for the very first time, please know that we are celebrating your presence, and please come back and bring more the next time you join us. I just wanted to take a moment to say that this is our hour of remembering the truth of who we are. So we get to celebrate that. We get to hear inspiration throughout the service today that connects us with that deepest truth of who we are. So sit back, relax, and enjoy our service today. I want to make a couple of announcements before we move right into our program service. First of all, I want to remind everyone that we do have a Course in Miracles every Sunday morning from 10 a.m. to 10:45. It's in our e-blast, and I encourage everyone. The SEC e-blast is available. All you have to do is contact our office and give them your email address, and then have that information sent to you so that you are aware of all the activities that are going here. So there you will find the link for a Course in Miracles, which is on Zoom every Sunday morning from 10 to 10:45. Our service, of course, meditation is from 10:45 to 11. And of course, again, you'll find the link for services there. On Wednesday nights, we are engaged in a class from 6 to 7:30 p.m. called Living a New Paradigm. And this is a great opportunity to get close with Archbishop Desmond Tutu and the Dalai Lama as they are talking and exchanging ideas, life experiences, and wisdom in the book called The Book of Joy, Lasting Happiness in a Time of Change. So join us any Wednesday at 6 p.m. as we continue to enjoy this book together. We read together, we discuss what we've read, and it really is inspiring. I want to take also a moment to thank our board of directors here at the Spiritual Enrichment Center here in Dothan for coming out today, and all of our friends and volunteers as well to work the grounds. We kept our social distancing and wore our mask, and we beautified the grounds here at 942 South Oates Street so that the Spiritual Enrichment Center is as beautiful on the outside as it is on the inside. If you happen to be in the Dothan area and you pass by us, you'll notice there's a little special light blinking here at what we call the lighthouse. So thank you everyone for showing up. It was a lot of hard work, a lot of fun, and we're all better off for it. So with that said, let's move right into our service today. Our first song that we're going to have today is a song that was written and sung by Karen Hunter Watson, and the music was arranged and performed by Makua Ray. It is called Building a Better World.
There's a vision that I hold. I hold it deep, deep in my heart. There's a place that I go where we're never, ever far apart. And when that vision unfolds and we all reach the same goal, then I know, yes, I know. Then I know, yes, I know. Then I know, yes, I know. We're building a better world that works for all. We're building a better world, a world that works for all. We're building a better world where nobody has to fall, where the prayers can go out and the blessings come in. We're building a better world that works for all, where the children learn to know the gifts that they do hold. There's joy in living in this world, and the glory of the truth. If we do what we came here to do, then nothing and no one can dispute. We're building a better world that works for all. We're building a better world where children feel free to breathe. We're building a better world where there's food enough to eat. We're building a better world where the air is fresh and clean. We're building a better world that works for all, where the children learn to know the gifts that they do hold. There's joy in living in this world, and the glory of the truth. If we do what we came here to do, then nothing and no one can dispute. We're building a better world that works for all. We're building a better world, a world that works for all. We're building a better world where nobody has to fall, where the prayers can go out and the blessings come in. We're building a better world that works for all, where the prayers can go out and the blessings come in. We're building a better world that works for all, where the prayers can go out and the blessings come in. We're building a better world that works for all. We're building a better world that works for all. We're building a better world that works for all.
Thank you, Karen. What a beautiful song, Building a Better World. And thank you, Makua, for that music. Together, it resonates very strongly in my soul as a reminder that all of life is about building a better world. And that brings us right into our topic today. Our talk title today is the Tao of Freedom. I want to start out with a quote from Howard Thurman as sort of the one of the anchors through which we'll journey as we talk about freedom. What is freedom and how is freedom expressed? Howard Thurman was a mystic and a mentor to many, including Dr. Martin Luther King on his journey. He was a minister and very early into the New Thought way of thinking. And Howard Thurman said that the mystic's concern with the imperative of social action is not merely to improve the condition of society. It is not merely to feed the hungry, not merely to relieve human suffering and human misery. If it were all in itself, it would be important. But Howard Thurman takes it to another step. Dr. Thurman says, but this is not all. The basic consideration has to do with the removal of all that prevents God from coming to himself in the life of the individual. I'm going to say that one more time. Really go deep with me in listening to this. The basic consideration has to do with the removal of all that prevents God from coming into himself in the life of the individual. Whatever there is that blocks this calls for action. And so as we are exploring today the Tao of freedom, we are in fact exploring all that blocks God, all that blocks that God essence coming forward in the truth of who we are, that then is outpictured in our actions, our passions, our love for freedom. So we're going to be examining that and finding out that call for action to realign ourselves when we find ourselves outside of that essence is what we're going to be talking about. Because freedom is more than something that we receive. Hear me now. Freedom is more than something that we receive. God cannot be bound, enslaved, or imprisoned, which means the truth of us is also freedom as a divine right, a divine way of life. And while this is the truth, many experience enslavement, imprisonment, and being held captive or hostage sometimes in physical ways. And many times we do this to ourselves in mental ways, in spiritual ways. We bind ourselves with ideas, concepts, and beliefs about who we are and what we are and whether we can ever even have freedom. We bind ourselves into these constructs that keeps us outside of the truth of who we are and makes us think that we are imprisoned, that we are imprisoned by an idea, we are imprisoned by an action, we are imprisoned by a set of circumstances that are affecting our lives. We bind ourselves with ideas, concepts, and beliefs. But the Tao of freedom is a gift. It's about gifting ourselves the ability to live freely while at the same time bringing this truth to others who may currently be incarcerated or have trauma around the idea of being a prisoner. Just think about that for a moment. We have imprisonment that can happen by someone being imprisoned physically in a jail or prison, certainly during this time. But we can also be imprisoned and held just as much a captive by our own ideas, our own thoughts. So Taoism is part philosophy and it's part religion, and it emphasizes doing what is natural, going with the flow in accordance with the Tao. Now, the Tao is a cosmic force which flows through all things. It reminds me, in fact, of Ernest Holmes' divine source, divine flow, divine substance. And according to Ernest Holmes, the divine plan is one of freedom. Bondage is not God ordained. Freedom is the birthright of every soul. The inherent nature of a human being is forever seeking to express itself in terms of freedom. So we do well to listen to that inner voice, for it tells of a wonderful in its scope. It tells of a life wonderful in its scope, of a love beyond our fondest dreams, of a freedom which the soul craves. Freedom is not spirit within being blocked. Freedom, it is not I, but the spirit within that does the work. So we're not talking about the spirit being blocked. We're talking about it is not I, but the spirit, when it's free to flow and to connect by our consciousness, allowing it in, that it does the work for us. According to Taoism, one's ultimate goal is to live at peace with the way of the Tao and recognize that everything that happens in life should be accepted as a part of the eternal force which binds and moves through all things. Likewise, in New Thought, we refer to the thing itself, the invisible essence from which everything flows, source of all, the unlimited power and creative intelligence that is present everywhere. This source creates our individual experience according to the direction of our thought, our beliefs, and our intentions. And so we are conduits of the divine. One way we bind or imprison ourselves is with our thoughts, the proverbial monkey mind, the endless stream of chatter that leaves us feeling overwhelmed, depressed, confused, even paralyzed at times based on the disbelief that we are our thoughts. The disbelief that we are our thoughts. The voice in our head is really our ego feeding itself, The Tao of freedom helps us to stop identifying with that voice and realize we are not the one who is thinking these thoughts. Rather, we are the one who is aware of these thoughts. Knowing yourself is the awareness behind the voice. Let me say that again. Knowing who you are is recognizing yourself as the awareness behind the voice, or becoming aware of awareness can truly transform your life. Being receptive to the power, the Wu Wei, without attachment. One of the fundamental talents or tenets, of Taoism is Wu Wei, which means action without intent, and can be extended to mean action without attachment. When we release our attachment to an outcome, and simply allow things to be as they are, we tap into an awareness of a power that is without limit. That power works in us, through us, and as us. True freedom lies in knowing that we do not need to harness this power. We need only have an awareness of it and be receptive to its existence. So as I become still within, I acknowledge that there is one power and first cause to all things. The power expresses itself in me, through me, as it does with all of life. My freedom springs from the awareness that this is the truth. This is the truth about me, since I am one with God, the absolute source of the universe. The only action I need to take is to accept the divinity within me and within each person that I meet. What could be more liberating than that? Ask yourselves, what could be more liberating than that? Now, Panache Desai published an article in the Huffington Post, and it's called 7 Things You Know to Tame the Monkey Mind. Excuse me, making a quick adjustment here. 7 things you need to know to tame the monkey mind. The monkey mind is something every modern human is familiar with. It's that incessant thought stream that no matter how hard you try, never seems to settle down. It's just chatter, 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 chatter. And usually filling you up with things that really are not necessarily the truth of who you are. So it's the worries that keep you up at night, the assumptions that cause you grief, the projections you make about the future, and the regrets and sentiments you go over from the past over and over again. So I wanted to take from this body of work, and let's talk about the 7 things you need to know to tame that monkey mind. The first thing is seek common ground and connection. Division is a distraction from the divine. I love that. Division is a distraction from the divine. When you see yourself as a lone wolf, you lose sight of the pack and you struggle to survive, let alone thrive. Yet when you can look around and feel a connection to all people you encounter, everything changes. You start to focus on connection instead of separation. You start to focus on the complete truth that nothing is separate, that we're all connected, That the sun in the sky keeps us alive. The people around you complaining about their mundane daily disturbances are going through the motions just like you are. They are merely at a different point in their personal evolution. But the sun in the sky keeps us all alive. We are all connected. So instead of focusing on your independence and feeling and feeding your loneliness with divisive thought patterns, bring the focus back to finding common ground. Look up in the sky on a sunny day, knowing that that sun is feeding and nurturing us all. So therefore, in that context, we are all one. When you do this, you shift your entire perspective. Number 2, look deeper than the story. Society, the people you surround yourself with, your past experiences, and your present belief system all work to strengthen the story that you are narrating in your head all day long. It's so easy to attach to your story and your thoughts and glue them all together, thinking that they have you, that you are your thoughts. But if you struggle with self-esteem and that's a part of your story, then without a doubt, your thoughts are the roots of keeping that belief alive in you. When you can remain present and focus on how you feel in each moment, you can start to release the constant narration and let go of the belief structures embedded in your story that hold you back from realizing your true potential. Often our stories hold us like prisoners because of the attachment that we give, ultimately as a result of that attachment, giving that story power over us. You know what's interesting about holding on to these stories? Is that most of the time, the stories that we hold on to are the stories of the past, of events that are no longer even happening in our lives. That then the more we feed that story, it becomes bigger. And then we start to attach the present moment and then the future moment. And before you know it, we are imprisoned in our story. So we want to look deeper than the story. Let the story go. Let the monkey mind just continue to chatter that story, but center down into that deep knowing that God is all there is. Number 3, realize you are not your thoughts. Endless thoughts flow through your mind. 1,000 thoughts pass through your mind every hour, and you have 2 options. The first option is to allow the mind to act like a hose. Thoughts stream in through the top of the funnel and directed out at the bottom. They flow elsewhere without attachment. The second option is to allow your mind to act like a filter. Thoughts attempt to pass through the filter, but they get trapped. The filter of your mind clings to them for analysis and attachment. The filter gets all clogged up, full of thoughts based on what you want and what you don't want. When you believe that every thought matters, that every thought that enters your brain is you, and that every thought needs to be examined, you become overburdened, overwhelmed, confused, directionless, and prone to over-analysis, and prone to habitual behaviors that lead you no place, that don't allow you to move forward on your journey. You create internal resistance because you believe on a subconscious level that you are your thoughts. Let's do that again. You create internal resistance because you believe on a subconscious level that you are your thoughts. But when you allow your thoughts to show up and pass away without clinging to them in an attempt to analyze and integrate, you access a freedom that few people embody. You enter into a vibrational state of allowing, which is expansive and creates space for you to access the peace and joy of being. Imagine that. Allowing you to access the peace and joy of being. Wow, how much then can be done, can be explored and examined through your life by just being attached to that joy, that creative essence of who you are. All the energy that it takes to hold on to those thoughts, to sift through those thoughts, to judge yourself by those thoughts, hold you hostage in your capacity to be. But as you release all of that, as you hear them, I mean, you're still going to hear the thoughts, but you're no longer trying to catch them and hold them. You're allowing them to funnel on out as you continue to breathe and to be and be able to access the greater truth of who you are. Number 4, let go of excuses. I don't have time, I'm too busy. These are everyone's favorite excuses for not allowing connection, acceptance, and peace to enter your life. Think about it real quickly. Just close your eyes for a minute and ask yourselves, have I ever said to anybody, I don't have enough time? Have I ever said to anybody, I'm too busy? Have I ever said to anybody, I'll get back to you when? Think about what generally happens. What generally happens is you may not get back with that person that experienced that opportunity at all. And the same is true for ourselves. I mean, working on a project, I'm too busy. I'll have to deal with this aspect of myself later. I'll have to entertain this thought later. And then we lose track of the thought, and later never comes. So when you're ready to let go of the monkey mind and free yourself from the chains that keep you stuck in your head and separated from the world around you, you stop making excuses. Breaking down the mental constructs that you've been attached to and strengthening for your entire life is no easy task. So I'm not trying to minimize that, but it is possible. And the more excuses you make, the longer it will take to break away from the mental chatter. So rather than making excuses about being attached, just let go. We always say, stop and drop. Go from the head to the heart and just simply breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. Allowing that monkey mind to just, all those thoughts to just drain through that funnel. Number 5, develop a drama-free mentality. There's a tendency in our society to become addicted to drama. Oh my goodness. It's in everything that we see, from you're looking at the social media, looking at television, on our cell phones, wherever it is. There is so much drama that is happening all around us. So the boldest example of this, as I said before, is your television, is social media. Suddenly you are immersed in a world that's full of drama on every possible level. So what are you letting in? You know, I've heard different ministers like Michael Beckwith refer to this as the weapons of mass distraction, because they take us from our inner self. They sort of dumbs down our conscious self. And so that we are caught up in this drama, and then the next thing you know, we're making that drama our drama. Think about it. All that drama we get addicted to is also connecting with the drama that we're holding inside, and breaking the cycle of drama will create more peace in your life. We know that, and yet when it's time to tune in to those distractions, to that outer drama, we forget about breaking the cycle. We are caught up in it, whether in our heads or in the things we choose to give our attention. So your life can be whatever you want it to be. A soap opera or a peaceful expansion of existence that plays out moment by moment. It's your choice. Develop a mentally free consciousness. Free yourselves from the drama internally and externally by being aware of the choices that you're making each and every day. To sit and be consumed by distraction, or to get up and be aware of everything that is around you that reminds you of the truth of who you are, breathing in and breathing out, accessing that deep inner peace, which is that deep inner freedom. Number 6, release judgment. You know, a lot of times we're in relationships with each other, and this internal voice is saying, what were they thinking? What's wrong with them? Why are they doing that? Why are they doing that to me? Judgment creates an inner resistance, a pushing against what is without ever changing what is. The monkey mind thrives on judgment. Remember that. The monkey mind thrives on judgment and what we talked about before, drama. It fuels and feeds the fire of your thoughts. So when you would normally jump into judgment, how about just sort of taking a deep breath? Practice allowing things to just be as they are. So just because judging thoughts come up, it doesn't mean we have to engage in judging the people around you. I always like to have triggers for things, so that when a judging thought comes up about someone, I immediately go to, oh, how beautiful that person is. Oh, how blessed I am to have them in my presence. Oh, how I recognize that we are all one. Just by using those triggers helps me to shift my consciousness, and in doing so, find another level of freedom, because I'm not attached to the outcomes. I'm not attached to the what ifs. And finally, practice awareness. Practice awareness of the thoughts streaming through your mind. And you can't one day wake up, or I should say, you can't one day wake up and decide to tame the monkey mind without bringing all of the awareness of the thoughts themselves to the forefront. Awareness is the balm that soothes the irritation the monkey mind loves to create. Now, I know that my dear friend David here with us today, who I'm always grateful for all of his support for our services and keeping us online, has done Vipassana in India. And I know that he struggled with that monkey mind, and that monkey mind had to be tamed. He's talked about some of those experiences of just moving into that deep inner space where the truth of who we all are resides. So as much as the monkey mind loves to create turmoil in our brain, we have a choice. And that choice comes out of our awareness of who we are. And often in every moment that we can bring awareness to the forefront of what we're feeling and thinking, then when we notice the anger, we notice the irritation, the judgments bubbling up inside of ourselves, then we have a choice to consciously be aware of the thoughts, our reactions to them, and then what? And then letting them go. Not having to engage at all. We just simply let these thoughts go. So these are our 7 practices, and let me just review them one more time, just so that you can put them in your journal to begin your work on letting go of the distractions. Being aware, but knowing you have a choice. Seek common ground and connection. Don't get caught up in thinking that you're separate from everybody else. So seek common ground. Recognize the connection you have with all of life. Look deeper than the stories you've been telling yourself over and over again that affect how you are and how you be in relationships with others, in relationships with yourself, in relationships with the world. Realize you are not your thoughts. That monkey mind, that chatter is going to go on and on and on and on. It's almost like the wind blowing. But you have a choice to engage or not to engage, whether to let those determine your life or not. Number 4, let go of excuses. You don't have to make excuses. Just center down and be. Just center down and be. Develop a drama-free mentality is number 5. It's so easy to get caught up in the distractions of life and make those be bigger than life itself. But we have a choice. Develop a drama-free mentality. Number 6, release judgment. That's a big one for all of us. Don't think you're alone in that. We see something, we judge it right away. And we align ourselves with the way we judge. Let it go. Breathe in, breathe out. Knowing that God is everything in everyone, in you, in me, and all of life is flowing exactly as it should. Release judgment. And finally, practice awareness. It is very difficult to make changes without creating some practice in your life that will constantly remind you to come back to center. Come back to center. But every moment of your life, you have that opportunity to do so. The Tao of freedom. The road to freedom lies not through mysteries or occult performances, but through the intelligent use of nature's forces and laws. That is a quote from Ernest Holmes in The Science of Mind. There's another quote I wanted to mention by Neil Donald Walsh. To live your life without expectation, without the need for specific results, that is freedom. That is godliness. That is how I choose to live. Think about this as you go forward during the week. Let's center down for a moment. I want us to just take in some of that. That was a lot of information. Those 7 steps may only be 7 steps, but that's a life journey. And we're going to take that journey together. We're going to keep building on that journey as we come more and more in alignment with the Tao of freedom. And so our affirmation for this day is my freedom is the awareness that all things live together for the good of all other things and for the greater good of life itself. Let's take a deep breath. And I'm going to do that one more time, slowing it down so that we can bring it in. My freedom is the awareness that all things live together for the good of all other things and for the greater good of life itself. Just hold that in your spirit. Just hold it. And I want you to say with me, I am so grateful that I am one with the divine. And that is the truth of who I am. And so it is. We're going to breathe that in as we listen to an upliftment mantra performed by David Bey.
Ami di li gong zen hong. 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 Ami di Ali di li go tin on. 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 Ali di li go tin on.
Now we come to a time in our service where we have an opportunity to tithe or make a donation to the Spiritual Enrichment Center of Dothan. And so I would just like to invite you to go inside and hit that button on the Facebook as well as on our website, www.secdothan.org. There's a donate button there, as well as on our Facebook page. There's also information showing on the screen right now that gives you the information if you want to mail a check or make a donation. It's all there for you. And so in the spirit of giving, let us say, we give thanks for these offerings of love. I know they go forth blessing all those who enter here and all of our community. And our community now is on Facebook, is out around the world. And so all of our community here in Dothan and all of our community online, we are all blessed in the privilege of giving and receiving. And for this we do give thanks. Amen. And so it is. Thank you so much for being with us today. And as we begin to move towards the end of our program, let us say our prayer of protection. It is printed there for you on the screen so that you can join me and I'll be listening for you. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Now I want you to do me a favor and repeat after me, and repeat after me as though you really mean it. Deep, deep down. Not as though you mean it. I want you to really mean it and really feel it. Something wonderful is happening in my life right now. I believe it. I feel it. I know it. And I allow it. And so it is. Yay, God. Have a wonderful week. And we look forward to seeing you back here next Sunday at 11 o'clock at SEC Dothan. This is the Spiritual Enrichment Center here in Dothan, Alabama.
Let your light shine.
Come on, people, join us and sing. Let your